Hey pal, and welcome. Now, let me let you in on a little secret. Saving money is dumb. Why would I waste all my time saving all my money when I can invest in completely reliable Chinese life support equipment? So today I have over $1,000 worth of the finest scuba gear that you can buy on AliExpress, and we're gonna check out all of it. So first, of course, I have this beautiful t-shirt that I found. I don't have any kids or a dad, but I thought it looked really nice. And for the record, this product is called T-shirt for Men O-Neck Tops Male Men's Scuba Diving Dad - Diving Father Shirts. And I just happened to notice that it says one soul. So that was me, I guess. Jesus. Now, I bought these because I'm pretty sure these are in fact hand flippers. These are called Whale Adult Adjustable Silicone Hand Webbed Diving Gloves Fin Flipper Learn Train Gear Professional Swimming Paddle Frog Finger. Next up, we've got the classic 1 liter scuba tank thing. As you can see, it's dirty. I've actually already used it, so stay tuned to know how that went. Now, our 1 liter tank is actually called Lung Tank Diving Mini Underwater Cylinder Scuba Diving Oxygen Tank 1 liter Cylinder Underwater Breather with Breathing Valve C-Set. $160 off. Next up, I figured I had to get a classic regulator. Now, this is a $20 regulator, so I very much hope that I do not drown while I'm using this, but barb fitting. I don't know why there's a barb fitting on the end. Our regulator is actually called New, in all caps, Scuba Diver Diving Mouthpiece Regulator Second Dive Diving Hose Octopus Underwater Secondary Hookah with 145 PSI drop shipping. Now, you can't go wrong with a mask, so I had to get beautiful, classic scuba diving mask. Adult anti-leak scuba free diving mask, anti-fog snorkeling swimming goggles with elastic rubber strap for women, men. So it's not bad. 99 cents. It was not 99 cents when I bought it. Next up, we have got to go with a dive light, and this thing is absolutely massive, and it's got a little diving logo on there so you don't forget what it's for. Newest XHP 100 Scuba Diving Flashlight Powerful LED Torchlight XHP 90? That's a different model in the same title. Rechargeable underwater lamp IPX8 waterproof diving lantern. Flashlight, torchlight, lamp, and lantern all in the same title. Damn, dude. I don't know if I'm ready for this one. $13.96. See, this is like, all of these prices have gone down since I've bought these things. This is ridiculous. And last but certainly not least, we have our $500 Rebreather, which is like a blue Nemo competitor. It floats on the surface of the water and you have like a 30-foot regulator hose. Now, the title of this absolute beast is New Scuba Diving Snorkel Equipment Underwater Ventilator Electric Diving Rebreather Equipment for Deep Diving Fishing Hunting. I wonder what the hell fishing hunting is. Like, do you just walk around in the woods with a fishing pole? Or do you go swimming with a gun? How does that even work? So, those are the items that we have today. I'm going to start to unbox and prep these things. We'll start with the 1 liter tank, and then we'll do our stupid little novelty items, and then we'll close out with the rebreather, of course. We'll go into the field a few different times and test these items to see if they actually live up to the hype and see if they can actually do what they're marketed as. If you're enjoying the content so far and want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. And with that, let's get into this. Sash to hold the tank. We got a tank. Stevioxy is the brand. Our little regulator. It's got a pressure gauge on there. It's got a open and lock. Nice high pressure pump, all metal. The build quality is actually okay. Nice cheap little goggles that we'll never use. Oh, nice, and they give you a lot of extra O-rings too. I really like that. I've heard these can take forever to pump up, so I guess we're just gonna have to try it and see how long it takes. Yeah. Is this gonna explode? Is it even working? Ooh, it's gonna take absolutely forever. Okay, this is not going well. I'm just about barely at 500 and I am done. I've been going for probably 5 minutes. It gets hard very quickly. I don't see how this is practical whatsoever, but we're gonna continue on. And okay, so we're about halfway done at 1500 PSI. I am completely dead. My hands are all ripped up. It's been like an hour. Seems like false advertising to me, you know? They're selling a 1 liter scuba tank, but what they're really selling is a way to get absolutely jacked. Okay, so we got up to about 2500 PSI and I am done. I'm not gonna take it up to 3000 because it looks like that is right where it starts to be in the red zone on this tank. It's been 3 hours and yeah, I was going to go out and test this today, but that's not going to happen. I'm gonna have to do it tomorrow because I'm literally so wiped out from doing that. Tomorrow, we'll hop in the water and see how this thing is. All right, so with this Pawinu lightning bolt flashlight, comes with a good amount of stuff. I mean, like I said, the flashlight's absolutely massive. Car charger in case you want to charge in your car, another car charger, regular outlet. You got this charger. These threads actually feel good. It feels like there's some good O-rings in there. Might actually be watertight. 26,650. I think it goes that way. I mean, it feels pretty good. It's all metal. There's 3 O-rings here. So this is my Orcatorch D710 because apparently Orcatorch likes to name their flashlights after bulldozers. Look at that size comparison. This is absolutely mad. It's okay. See, does it have multiple? Oh, nice little strobe action there. It's pretty bright. Different shade of white. This one is probably the AliExpress one is probably more like a 6,000 and this Orcatorch is a little warmer. So in the center here, because it kind of is making this little target, in the center here, the center is brighter than the Orcatorch, but the outer edge, which is kind of what really matters, is not as bright as the Orcatorch here. And that one's got 3 brightness settings, and our AliExpress only has 2, and then an epilepsy mode. I don't want to run them for too long because we're not underwater, obviously. Well, we'll take this underwater and see how it does, but I mean, it's a flashlight. It's not really that big of a deal. I'll have to do a power test compared to the Orcatorch to see kind of how long it lasts because this is a much bigger battery. I think the Orcatorch is like a 21 something and this one's a 26. It is a bigger battery, so we'll see if it lasts longer. This Rebreather is made by Deep or Die Deep because that's probably what I'm gonna do is die deep down on such a sketchy instrument. Got what I assume is the little floaty. I actually like that, it seems really easy. It's like on the airline life vests, what you get. Shoulder strap deal for holding the regulator hose. Little dive flag or surface marker. Air filter up there, so this must also double as the intake for the pump. Our regulator is very interesting hose. It's already frayed right there for some reason. Just straight up plastic. It is pretty concerning. Little carabiner right there so you can kind of clip it onto you. This is supposed to be a 10 meter hose. 10 meters when it's all the way stretched out, it stretches out so much. Got these beautiful goggles that we're definitely gonna have to use. Lime green to match your floaty. In here, I've already messed around with this a little bit. I'm sorry, but there is an extra battery that comes with this, which is great, because right now what we're looking at is basically the comparison to a Blue Nomad, because that comes with a 10-meter cable and 2 batteries, and that is $2,000. So this was $560. So if it comes anywhere close to that, I think that's pretty good. So I'd love to get one of those Nomads, but man, they're expensive. Power connection, extra O-rings, pride and joy right there. Is the actual compressor and the case. It actually feels quite nice. Not bad. Here's the battery. Completely unmarked. Super sketchy. Have no idea what's going on under here, but we'll just hope for the best. Our compressor, and there are water lines that actually wrap around it. So what this is a filter, and it's actually a water intake, and here is the outlet for the water. So while this thing is running, it actually sucks water around the outside of the compressor to keep it cool. So you do not want to run this thing for very long outside of the water, or it would overheat. There's where you put in your regulator, that little plastic piece. How does that? Oh, okay, it does lock and it snaps in. Right on top of this little black box is where this screws in. Instructions are pretty much one page of just pictures. Basically nothing. What I do really like about this is it does tell you the user of this product needs to hold the corresponding diving qualification certificate, such as PADI's OW, or have received corresponding diving training. Very, very happy about that, because obviously you can just buy one of these and get going, but I mean, you can have lung overexpansion injuries at like 6 feet, 6 feet of depth. So it's really important, like, do not go out on anything like this, except for, maybe the hand flippers, without having a certification. It's just not. The nose is stretchy because it actually inflates and holds spare air for you, so I could probably breathe off of this a couple of times, actually. Yep. So that's kind of nice, actually. When it dies, your hose isn't going to be firming up anymore, and when it starts to, shrink, that's when it's time to go. It doesn't just cut it, and you all of a sudden can't breathe. We'll see how that goes. All right, pals, palettes, and other. I have finished the product testing, and it's time for some results. Let's start off with one that I forgot to tell you guys about, maybe because it was so tiny. I actually got a dive knife from these guys. It doesn't have any anchor points for like a wetsuit. It has like this belt clip buckle thing, so it's also extremely small. Now that's a dive knife for you. Look at these two things. I don't know, I guess if you're looking for like a pocket knife, it might be okay just to put in like the pocket of a BCD or something, but to be honest with you, I really like the ones that are probably about twice this size and will strap to your leg. That's my knife of choice, personally, so I really wouldn't use this. Let's get on with the classic mask. Another complete dud here. Presses up against the glass. So I obviously didn't even take it out because the rubber or whatever material is on here, it's far too stiff and it doesn't form a seal around your face. Getting to the last of the odd minor products that really don't have much of a use, we've got our hand flippers. Yes, they do work. Other than that, I mean, it's just it's like a little plastic. Would I ever use them? Not for scuba diving, that's for sure. In a nice dive environment, when you have proper trim and buoyancy and everything is under control, you're really not using your hands that much. And then getting on to the more exciting products, we have the mini tank, and I'd definitely like to talk about that. There is another product that I had. It was a regulator that I bought, just a standalone regulator. It was $20. It's the exact same regulator as this one, so that's why I don't have it up here with me. Same exact one. So just getting into the regulator, the other one and the one that's attached to this, I mean, it's very cheap. It's plastic. It does work. You can breathe through it. That's fine. You can't adjust the airflow. I'm sure it would be terrible in cold water. Very basic. Would I trust my life to it down to about 30 feet? Sure. Beyond that, no, I wouldn't. Something I thought was interesting. It comes with this little boot here to protect the connection, and it's an aqua lung boot. So I'm wondering if some of this stuff is coming out of the same factory. I know that a lot of these hoses and everything from various different brands come out of the exact same factory, even from the larger brands. Getting into the actual tank in the whole product itself, in terms of filling it up, if you're going to use one of these, you have to either buy a compressor, which they're like $300, high pressure compressor that can fill this thing up. Apparently it takes like 30 to 45 minutes, or you can use what's called a whip, and it's an attachment that you can put on here and then attach your regular scuba tank to, and it'll transfer the air into here very quickly. It takes a couple of seconds. That would be what I would recommend the most. So on dives in that 30-foot range, if you needed a backup, that's totally fine. But just for regular recreational diving, this is not the unit for you. I mean, it took me 3 hours of pumping and pumping and pumping to get this thing up to 2,500 psi, which it can handle 3,000 allegedly. I didn't want to risk that. And then also I got 5 minutes of air under it. That's what my dive watch read, was about 5 minutes and 5 seconds or so. So 3 hours of excruciating work for 5 minutes is not very good. Overall, I would recommend this if you were doing a more shallow dive and wanted an extra backup, because it will give you at least 5 minutes of air. I am sure that you could probably do 10 if you're very experienced, very comfortable in the water, and not swimming in a current like what I was doing, if you're very chill and just going up. But in a backup situation, if you were to have something go catastrophically wrong and have to switch to a backup, no matter who you are, there's going to be some level of, I wouldn't say panic, but at least heart rate rise and respiration rate increase. So 5 minutes is probably the max that you should anticipate out of this thing. But 5 minutes certainly will get you from 30 feet to 0 feet. So overall, for standalone recreational diving, I'd give this thing about a 3 out of 10. And as a backup for more shallow dives, probably an 8 out of 10. I mean, it's fine. It's well built. The regulator obviously really isn't that great, but you could put your own regulator on it if you want. It's that same type of connection. Now we've got our last product, the Rebreather, as they called it on the website. Obviously, it's not a rebreather. I've heard them called hookah systems. You could call it a surface-applied air system. They're just called various different things, but I certainly would not classify this as a rebreather unless you're rebreathing other people's air from the environment around you. I mean, it's not a rebreather. But in terms of the final verdict of this thing, it really wowed me in a good way. So, for reference, the competitor to this would be the Blue Nomad. I know a lot of people love the Blue Nemo, which is a very popular unit. It's about $1,000, and it has a 10-foot hose, comes with 1 battery unless you order 2, and I'm not sure how long it lasts, maybe 2 hours or so max. But the company Blue has a different model of one of these systems called the Nomad, and that has a bigger battery and a 10-meter hose, I believe, or 30 feet. I'm not sure which they use, but it costs $2,000, that unit. I was totally interested in getting one because I do a lot of creek diving and metal detecting and stuff, but it's $2,000. It's a big investment. This was $530 and accomplishes the exact same thing. It has a 10-meter hose. It lasts for a very long time. I was underwater today for an hour and 15 minutes and this thing was still going strong. It comes automatically with a extra battery. You don't have to purchase that option and pay more when you order the unit. It comes with 2 batteries. So you can dive your heart out with this thing up to 30 feet if you really want. I was straight up just starting to get cold because I was in the water for so long and this thing was still going on its first battery. And I had actually brought the second battery with me. So I had more than enough with this. It's got the exact same regulator on it. One of these guys, same regulator, cheap plastic. It works, it's fine. But then again, it has the same connection to where you can just put your own regulator on it if you really want. But in my opinion, up to 30 feet, one of those regulators is just fine. I was fine with the amount of airflow it was giving me. I didn't feel like I wanted to adjust it or anything because you can't anyway. Downsides of this though is, so I ended up using this unit twice to review it. I used it in the St. Lawrence River and then I went to my normal creek metal detecting spot. And the first time when we were at the river, there was a extremely strong current and it took me by surprise a lot. So when I hopped in the water, I was kicking extremely hard just to stay with my boat. And not get drifted off out down the river because that would have been bad. So what had happened was when I finally descended breathing on this thing, I was breathing very hard and I was fighting the current and it felt like I was trying to suck through a straw. Basically, if you are panicking and overexerting yourself and breathing super hard, this thing will not feed you enough air. The compressor just isn't that powerful. On a scuba tank, you can breathe, you can hyperventilate as fast as you want and it'll deliver you all of that air, but this compressor has a set limit. So I went back to the creek this time, which has a current, but much less of a current, and you can kind of hide behind rocks from it and find good spots, and I had zero problem. I stayed under completely. One session I did for an hour and 15 minutes with no problems, and it was feeding me plenty of air. So that is one thing to be super careful about with this. If you're considering buying one, you don't want to be 30 feet down overexerting yourself because it's just not going to feed you enough air. It's not like it's going to cut out and stop feeding you air, but you'll notice it gets a lot harder. It's an effort to actually breathe in, and it should never be an effort when you're scuba diving. Final verdict with this, I'm really happy with it. I am definitely going to be keeping it in my arsenal. It's very light. Some of the creeks that I go to metal detect, you have to hike in, so it's extremely difficult to get a bunch of gear in there. So this compact unit without an 80 cubic foot tank, or even like I use a 63 when I have to really hike somewhere, it's really nice just to be able to have this light of a unit to hike in to different places. I mean, this could go in a backpack if you really wanted to, but you have to carry your wetsuit, all sorts of other things. So I usually just use a little off-road camping wagon, and that works well. But I think really, if people were to discover this product here more, I think Blue should be scared, because this is a quarter of the price of that unit and does the exact same thing without a problem. So I'll have to do a future update when I use it a little bit more to see how it is long term. I know luckily it does come with the lithium ion batteries, so those should last a while, but for right now, I'm extremely happy with it, and I'm going to keep using it. I will probably swap out the cheap regulator for one of mine, but so that's going to do it for this video, guys. That was super fun to film. I wasted some money on some really bad products, but luckily, at least one, the surface supply unit really blew me away, and then the mini tank is okay. So I'm glad that I'm not dead. I didn't drown from this very questionable tech. It was actually quite nicely built, a lot of it, at least the more expensive units. But in the end, I have at least one product right now that I'm certainly going to keep using and I'm really impressed with. You know, maybe two. I mean, this shirt is legit. If you like this video and want to see more content like it, like dive videos, reaction videos, and scary diving stories, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.